Welcome to the Moving Past You radio show, a show about identifying, confronting, and embracing the obstacles that block and delay us in walking in our divine purpose. Each week, we delve into the complexities and rewards of walking in your purpose. Now, here's your host, Juanita Gaynor.
I knew I was on mute. I knew it. I just knew it. It just happened. But hey, everybody, it's December, December 1st. So I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. Of course, we didn't, do anything Thanksgiving. Everyone was about family, chilling out with friends. I did a wings giving. So I did a wing spread. Um, I did Babe's favorite. He likes Wingstop fried corn, so I made that. I think I did pretty good, but he was down for the wings either way. So we hit it a wings giving. It was just really laid back. Watch the game. I'm an Eagles girl, so I was not happy with the game outcome. So you should already know. So this is December 1st. We are literally less than 30 days away from the new year. That is amazing. Also, we're less than 12 days away from the one and only's birthday. I haven't decided what the whole thing is going to be. As for most would know, I normally do a fundraiser between now and my birthday because every year I tend to adopt families that need financial assistance to help with expenses and things like that, or whatever that fundraiser is. I did bring it up this year, but some requests, I've gotten a few donations. I'll share it on later, for those who may be interested. And whatever the donations are, I tend to match them. I have a set amount that I'm requesting because I have that amount to match if that amount is done. So either way, the people are going to get helped and whatever, but I would love to help so many more you know. With that being said, tonight we just have an amazing guest. I know when I first talked with this amazing woman, and talking about the purpose and the path that she's done. I remember her telling her story to me, and it was something that I said to her. And we can go. I'll go into detail when I bring her forward. But as a child of abuse, as a child who was abused by her mom, who's been sexually abused or whatever, who has been in the inroads of abuse when people don't leave. And when she was telling me how she left, I said to her that I thank her very much for leaving. Because so many times we want to do what's best for our friends and our family or whatever, and we try to stay for those around us. And sometimes, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm judging. Don't think I'm saying, oh, you're saying it's anybody can leave. Yeah, okay. If that was the case, I'd have left my marriage the first time when he got crazy. There's a lot of things that go into play. But when you have someone who God has given that unresilient strength and their faith is so strong, because it takes a good foundation of faith to be able to walk away when all else seems like crazy, when you don't know how it's going to lay out, when you don't know how it's going to work out. It takes an extreme amount of faith. And I can say that there's been times my faith haven't been that strong, and I probably would have still been trying to work it out, struggle it out. I know I've been there, done it. So for those who can just on the first try, their faith, you need to look at them and be like, that's the faith you want to emulate. That's the faith you want to ask God to give you, because it's in that faith that allows you to kind of navigate situations with, Lord, I trust you. Your will be done. However you decide to move, we're going to move. So with that being said, today's guest is going to be none other than Brittany Gary, and we're going to be talking about unraveling the threads of healing and redemption. Yeah, I said that. This is going to be powerful, powerful. Brittany Gary is an author, an entrepreneur, and a mother. She's faced profound hardships, abuse, and trauma in her life. However, she has emerged as a potent advocate for women's healing. Through her personal healing journey, she discovered the inner strength to assist other women in overcoming abuse, coping with their pain, and nurturing resilience through their faith. Brittany demonstrates that individuals possess greater strength than they may realize, at all things are attainable through Christ. And that understanding one's true identity empowers them to face the future without fear. I'm going to say that again, that understanding one's true identity empowers them to face the future without fear. She frequently emphasizes they are strong, anointed, chosen, and loved. Help me welcome Miss Brittany Gary. Hi,
Hi.
how are you this amazing evening?
I am great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. It's been a minute since we've last talked. Um,
Yeah.
I was just going like I was just I'm excited for the conversation because like I was saying earlier before I introduced you, as you were telling me your journey, I said to you that thank you for walking away. And I said that as the inner child within me that wished my mother, my family was able to pull away from those things that was traumatizing us. And so, with that being said, like, tell us about you. Tell us, family, what makes you and what drives you for this personal journey.
So I am a mother of four. I have them 100% full custody of all four of them. My youngest are twins and they're 2.5. So, and I homeschool all of them. I'm also an entrepreneur. So working at home, all the good things. So yes, I have my hands full. I've heard it a million times, but I love it. Um, Yeah, I am divorced though. My ex-husband um led into like all of the child abuse and a lot of other abuses that I had to personally endure with that, and I got free from that. I also have had other relationships that were very abusive. I've seen it in my childhood growing up, especially with the abuse that happened to my mom with her other husband, not my dad, but um, and so, like, I just have this long history of abuses and traumas. And before I went through the abuse in my marriage, I wasn't in my faith. Like, I heard you speaking about being so rooted in your faith, and you're right, absolutely right. Like, that is like key. It was key for me, at least, to really understanding who I was and being able to say, "You know what? Enough is enough. We don't deserve this. My children don't deserve it," and getting out. So, literally up until that marriage, I really just looked at all of my other abusive situations as this is just life and it happens to everyone and there's nothing you can do about it. And I've always had a heart for um, women and children, especially that were trafficked. I always heard about just women and children, and now obviously I know it's also boys and young men that can also be trafficked. But it was just like this heart cry for women and children that were trafficked, and then boom, I get into this marriage, and things are just like going haywire on all ends, like everywhere, and that's when I realized, like, yeah, this is not actually right, and this is not how we're supposed to live, this is not how we're supposed to be treated, and the same heart cry that I have for these other women and children is how I started to feel for myself and my children, and I put my foot down and I said, "Enough is enough. We're getting out of here. One way or another, we're gonna get out of here."
That's wonderful. And so it's what I'm hearing is that, and we do this often. We care about other people. We want to make sure
Oh,
other
yeah.
people are good, and we never turn that around to care for ourselves. But you took
Yes.
that and was like, wait a minute, I should feel that way about myself too. And
Yeah.
then once you start shifting, so as we go to that one, talk about your journey of overcoming and how you found that strength to go into your healing process.
That really came mostly with my faith, for sure. That was a big thing. And then also my children. It was one of those, like, I really do not want this for my daughter. I don't think that she needs to see that this is how a family should function, a man should treat her. I didn't want it for my son at the time because I didn't have the twins. I actually got the divorce in the middle of being pregnant, right at the end of my pregnancy. And, so they never even met their biological father, but I didn't want that for my son either. I was like, "This is not how you're supposed to do things, and if I can't physically take care of you guys, then who's going to? Because where are you guys gonna go?" And then once I had the twins, I actually for honestly, probably their whole first year of life, which was the biggest part of my healing journey. I really debated just giving them to another family because I didn't think that I was good enough to take care of them. Um,
Mhm.
so then all of those things combined was really what got me like, okay, look, I know who I am now. Like once you start learning your identity, then you start realizing like, no, I am better than this. I am loved. I'm chosen. I am valued. I'm precious. Like I am beloved and I have value. I have worth. I have meaning in my life. I'm needed by other people. I'm wanted by other people, whether I knew who those people were at the time or not, but
Right.
someone out there wanted me,
Right.
friendships, everything. So all of that, just like a huge big mixture of in a dark spot for me was like, no, you got to get out of this. Like you just have to start somewhere. And for me, my somewhere was getting up out of bed every day.
Mhm.
Just if you can just get up out of bed, you'll be fine. If you can just do whatever it was. I honestly can't even remember that far back, even though it was just in the beginning of like 2021, in the middle of that whole year, actually. Um, but I know it was, didn't want to brush my hair, I didn't want to brush my teeth, I didn't want to get dressed, I didn't want to go outside, I also didn't want to stay inside. So it was like just a constant everyday one step after another, and that got that healing journey ball just rolling.
Wonderful. And I hear you say 2021. I don't think I remember much of 2020 or 2021 because of COVID. And so, as you think about your journey, as you think about what you were going through, how do you think COVID may have played a role in one helping you see your worth, but it may have also helped others to see their worth, in the lens of everything shut down? What is your impact, your intake on that?
Well, I know everyone had to stay home, so social media was like a huge thing. I stayed on social media as much as I could, and not really because it was like me trying to be out there. I wasn't there yet. It was more of I needed help and I knew everyone was stuck at home. So I joined Facebook groups and I all the like divorce groups and all types of things just to try to like feel some connection and also just see what other people were talking about and what was going on in their lives. And that's when I seen so many, like I mean countless unimaginable women asking like, "How do you do this?" And how come my husband is always mad? And how do I get out of abusive situations? And I can't stop, crying after 3 years of being divorced and like all of these relatable to me questions, except for the fact that I was actually happy to be out of my marriage in a sense. Um, there were some things obviously that I was like, marriage sounds like it would be so much easier right now, like finances. But there were things that I was able to offer women and offer other people. And I was like, hey, I didn't even realize like I could offer this, but I'm a single mom and I have 4 kids now. I have newborns now. I have twins now that are newborns. And I
Right.
have other kids that are, of school age. And how do you preteen and this and that. So I really feel like, at least my experience with the whole COVID thing during that time and with this situation was that we were just able to really like communicate a lot more because everyone was bored. Everyone couldn't go to work. They couldn't really do stuff, or they were trickling back into work, and trickling back into school and all of that. So I felt like I had at least some type of purpose then, as well as being educated and hearing other people that were going through the same thing I did or that went through it. So for that, I was I was grateful, but there were a lot of other things that were just like horrible with COVID happening, of course.
I completely understand because what I'm seeing with COVID, and I just know it's been almost 20 years since my divorce. And I know after my divorce, like maybe about a few years after my divorce, I was still struggling with my decision making. And it wasn't that I wasn't good at it, but when I got divorced, when I had to file those papers, when I had to do, walk away, I then went back and I dissected every decision that I had ever made in life because my thing was is that if I didn't see such red flags or all of this before, how am I qualified to make a decision or help anyone? And there was not social media wasn't really a thing 20 years ago, and we didn't really talk about it, So I'm glad to see that there was a support aspect that you can talk with other people. But do you have some days where you're just like, I know I can make that decision, but does that creep up? Does that, the effect from the divorce? How do you? I know how I work at it now because 20 years later, it still does on some things. But how do you deal with that, or and how do you work with maybe other women or give them advice on maybe saying it happens, but this is how you deal with it?
Yeah, that was a huge thing for me, the decision making, and a lot of times it still is. It's like you said, I messed up on so much other stuff. What qualifies me to tell my kids if they should even wear red shoes today or not? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think I have it in me to pick what we're gonna eat for breakfast, you guys. I just but no, really, it does. It plays a huge role. Now, like you said, now after going through it and making those decisions and stuff like that and coming to that, and you still have it, of course, like it comes up every now and then. That's healing in general. Everything, it like always comes back to try to bite you and try to get you back sucked in. But yeah, just really, I personally like to now, especially go to God and really try to do like all of my decisions through Him if I can, the best I can. Obviously, I've done that before and I still like got the short end of the stick because I thought I was doing the right thing by getting married or whatever. I don't always hear the right way, I guess. I don't know. But at the same time, I like to just take it as like a lesson learned. And does it comes down to, is this decision like good or bad? Is it good or bad for me or the person or whatever the decision may be? And
Mhm.
then also just a matter of what are the possible outcomes on both ends, and what are you really feeling, what are you really like, are you hearing anything from God, is anything like matching up, like did you hear something on the radio that aligned with the same thing that you might have heard on a podcast that you might have also read in a book, because like writing my book, that was one of the things. I did not want to write this book at all, and that decision to write this book, the perfect example of a decision, I was like, there's no way, because I can't tell anyone anything. I'm not professional. Like, I just went through it. It's my own experience. But it was like I kept hearing, write a book, you should write a book. And sermons, like just write a book and like just random things. I'm like, there's no way all of this stuff is happening. So I really just try to go off of that, and then if it is the wrong decision and you find out later, like, you just I speak about this in my book too, like, you have to forgive yourself, and you have to learn from that, and then move on, and also just understand that you don't always have the answers. You can't possibly always have the answers. You're gonna mess up. That's inevitable.
Right.
We're human. And when those times come, seriously, just learn from it. Learn from it and go to the next thing. See where you can go from there, because sometimes what we think are mistakes are actually huge blessings for someone
Mhm.
else. And it's not always about us and what we're going through. I know for me personally in my own family, when I got divorced, some of my Christian family literally like shunned me out of their life. Like, they were so mad that I got a divorce. And then when another family member of mine was going through a divorce, they were like, "Oh, well, we like figured out some things because of Brittany's divorce, and we also rekindled that relationship." And now it made that other family member's divorce, or and separation, I should say, because they're not divorced yet, but that separation also from abuse so much easier, because they were like, "Oh, okay, we already went through this. We understand now," instead of just like hashing it out with everyone. So, and I really honestly think that this other person in my family that's going through the separation right now needed that. Probably way more than me, because
Mhm.
I don't like to say I'm a strong person. It always makes me cry when people tell me I'm so strong, because I feel so weak at times, it's just like one of those things like, "No, I'm not strong." But then you realize like, "Oh yeah, you are actually pretty strong." Like, when you really sit and think about it, you're like, "Oh yeah, I am strong. I am." But, yeah, so I really think it's like this other family member really needed that. So, just getting out of your own head and out of your own space with that, when those decisions that you make are the wrong decision or whatever, just
Mhm.
knowing that it's probably for someone else anyway. And if you can even just keep that mentality, then it'll still help. Even if you don't know who that person is that it's for, even if you don't see who that person might be for,
Mhm.
10 years down the road, just hold on to that, because it'll keep you sane more than beating yourself up and then like going into like a nasty down spiral of really just sabotaging your own, abusing your own self at that point.
Yeah. And that's absolutely true. And I like to tell people, you never know who is watching you on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You and I've come to, accept that and learn that because they're trying to see how you navigate. You may
Mhm.
think something is a loss, but they see it as a win because they didn't even have the strength to do what you feel was a loss.
Yeah.
So when people say you're strong, and I've heard it too, and I say no, I'm really weak, but there's strength in the weakness because we
Yeah.
understand where our help comes from. We understand what that foundation is. And so
Yeah.
what I want our listeners to know is just like, yes, we're strong, but we're weak at the same time. And,
Mhm.
we know that there's a greater cause, a greater purpose, to doing this. And we thank them for thinking we are, we
Yeah.
do, but there's some layers to all of this
Yeah.
craziness. So you was talking about your book. I want you to tell me about your book, the title, things like that. You was telling the purpose of writing it, but give us some, just tell me about your book. Let's get into the meat of the book.
Yeah. So the book is called Breaking Free: Healing from Abuse and Trauma. And I love I honestly really do love everything about this book. It's not just because it's mine. I love reading books, and
Mhm.
I took a lot of things that I loved from other authors and other books, and I incorporated in mine the best way that I knew how to learn. So, in my book, I have several chapters that at the end of each chapter there is it's called Breaking Free. So grab a journal, which I also have those on Amazon, but grab any journal, it doesn't matter what it is, piece of paper, and I give you action steps to actually do on a regular basis. You can do them as you read the book and then follow through with them continually for months, weeks, years, however long it takes you. That way you can really practice the healing. You're not just like hearing me tell you how to heal. Because that's my ultimate goal, is to really get people healed, help people in their healing, more than anything. And I talk about all types of things. Like I tried to make it a short, simple, easy read
Mhm.
instead of just like spewing out like a 5,000 page book, because I could have, but I really wanted people to be able to just hold something, read it, take in as much information as they can, and I tried to jam pack it with information as well. I also did very briefly like follow my abuse, the abusive situation that happened in my marriage, and with the child abuse especially, which inevitably ended the marriage. And there's just a lot of like wisdom and declarations in this book. There are a lot of prophetic words in this book that I just, as I was writing, I just like went on a spew. And when you're reading this, I literally, it's like I'm just talking to you. It's not a group of people. It's like I am talking directly to you. And I personally love that. I love when people do that in their books.
Yeah.
So, and again, the prayers that I put in here for you guys, the ones I even sneak in, it's nothing like drastic and dramatic, like all, a big long thing. It's just quick, short. All it takes is for you to read it, and you're in there.
I'm gonna get my hands on that. I'm gonna have to get
Oh,
my hands.
yeah.
Like, give me one action item. Um, it doesn't have to maybe necessarily come from the book, but one action item that you would give someone who is in that process of beginning that healing journey. They're just there, and you want to keep them motivated. Like if you were talking to them, what would that action journey be, and how would you instruct them to move through that?
Well, one of the first things I definitely would recommend, depending on the individual and where they are mentally with their healing,
Mm.
obviously counseling would be a huge plus for anybody. But counseling is always one of my very first recommendations, just because I really think that it's important to speak to someone and then also hear someone validate you and be on your side, and to let you feel like you have a support system. Because if you feel like you're just alone, and especially alone in the world, alone in your family, alone in this whole process, even, especially, I mean, divorce is already hard enough as it is, but if you had to go through abusive situations and courts and detectives and children and youth and all of that, that is like a whole nother, just like, the divorce was like 10 times easier than all of that other stuff that we had to go through with the children. So definitely being able to speak with somebody and feeling like you have someone on your side, I would say, is always, like, number 1. Find you someone good. If you don't feel comfortable with that person, find someone else. They're not all good, so you can't just go to one and say like, "Oh, it didn't work." Keep trying, please. And then also, I would highly recommend just beginning whatever their first action step, like whatever their thing is that they're missing at the time. So, like for me, I said I know that my first one was just getting out of my bed. Like I had a dent in my bed. If that's the very first, like the only thing that you can do every day, then I suggest you do that every single day. Get out of your bed. Make the bed, just throw the blanket over top of it, don't even have to be pretty. Just get out the bed, stay out of the bed for the day. Um, and then really getting into knowing who you are and understanding your identity and writing those down on, Post-it notes or note cards or pieces of paper. You can do, dry erase markers on your mirrors, whatever it is. Make, your phone screen, like make a nice little picture for your phone screen and keep it on your phone. That way you have it at all times, or your computer. If you work somewhere, like put it somewhere where you can see it. It doesn't matter if it's in the bathroom next to the toilet, just make them and continue to read them until you believe them. Just
Yeah.
continue, continue, continue. Do not give up. I still do this to this day. I love it.
And I want to thank you for something because I am big on therapy, very big on therapy. And for those exact reasons you said, it is somebody who is vested in your healing. They're not attached to anyone you know, so they can tell you something without you feeling like there's an ulterior motive. And the
Yeah,
reason I thank you for that because as women in faith, as Christians, as believers, we don't hear others don't hear that often. We hear so many other Christians or people who are faith that just says, oh, you shouldn't go, what do you need? You talk to God or talk to your pastor. And I
yeah,
am just like, that is not what they're for.
yeah.
Your pastor is not there for your spiritual healing. That is not what God tasked them to do, you know
Right.
and I'm like, I make this analogy. You don't have your doctor go to your doctor when you need open heart surgery. So why do you go to them when you need you know psychological surgery? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know so
exactly.
I'm grateful for that because a lot of people need to hear others who are in the faith actually advocate for mental health, because
Yeah,
I think that's another reason. Just when we think about those in the church, like for us, the church like really turned their backs on us with divorce and whatever. And I think mental health is they and I don't think they do it intentionally. I think it's just been programmed into them.
yeah,
So thank you for being that champion for that, because again, that is very important. Even in the clients I work with, you gotta go to therapy
yeah,
because there's just some things you gotta really heal
yeah,
before we get into the groundwork. Because if they really haven't healed, reading your book or whatever, and I feel like the way you're describing your book, it sounds like it would be something that if somebody hasn't gone through therapy yet, it would be something that could trigger them for therapy,
yeah,
because it has the inspiration, it has the prayers, it's walking them through, and they can come to the realization that they need maybe a little bit more help than what others have been given them. So
yeah,
that's what it sounds like. Your book is that gateway to those who may not have not gone into therapy yet, or who are in it and realize that they've made the best decision
yeah,
for that. So now, when I think of the book, when I, think of what you're doing in your journey and whatever, what is your goal? What is the ultimate goal as you're coming into 2024? Like, we are wrapping up 2023, outside of seeing the babies healthy and loved and all of that good stuff. What has God shown you? Let me rephrase this. What has God shown you, your direction, and relates to your purpose in taking this healing journey and taking others on the healing journey?
yeah, definitely, he has shown me a lot with this, and I'm very thankful because it was not what I wanted to do at all. I felt like a Jonah moment, like, "Nah." But, yeah, he definitely showed me just being able to be there to physically love on other women and help them get out, and not only get out, but then move forward and do what they're called to do, and to break those generational curses that their kids don't have to go through it. If they did, then they can at least help them heal and bring them up and show them there is another way out. Like, I see a long, just long as far as you can see east is from the west, just chain of freed women who are just capable, ready, and they're bringing everyone along with them. And when I say free, I mean mentally and spiritually and emotionally free. Like, I'm not just talking about some, like, new age, like, women, we're the world thing. No, I mean, like, you can go off and get married again because you can fully trust your new husband, and you can go off and have more kids because you are fully healed. Those type of freeing moments that it's not, "Oh, well, I all these decisions." Like, "Oh, no, I probably shouldn't because I made horrible decisions before, but now I'm out, so I feel great." No, You go do exactly what you were specifically called for, because I truly believe that we all have a purpose and we're called to do something amazing, and we already have an anointing. We just have to step into that anointing. And once we can get over that, the big walls that are there which is our hurt, our trauma, our pain, our abuses, once we can knock those down and get over that and get into our anointing, then that's when we can change the world per se. Like we can literally just go out and bring everyone along with us. There are so many people that right now are just trapped. I've talked to people that are just like, I don't know how. And this is just how I am. This is just what the cards that were dealt to me, and all of these things that they just decide to stay, which like you said in the beginning, I'm 100% with you. I know how hard it is to actually leave any abusive situation, whether it's a romantic partner, a church that may be spiritually abusing you, um, your doctor, chemo, those medical abuses, and how hard it is to leave those friendships, even sons, daughters, mothers, parents, like that whole, even those can be very abusive situations. I completely understand. When I had to go through this, I was like, I totally get why people stay. I should have never, ever second guessed why women stay in abusive situations. I totally get it. It is at that point so much easier. But if you can forget that for a second and think about afterwards, getting out is actually a whole lot easier. Um, Not the getting out part, that's always hard, but once you're actually out, that part is so much easier. Your life after is so much easier. And again, if you can get out of the mindset of like, this is for me, it's not. Just like what I do, I call this my ministry because I really believe that it is. This is not for me, this is for my children, this is for your children, this is for my neighbors, this is for my family, friends, this is for the thousands of people that follow me on social medias, and the people that I've never met yet, people across the world. This is for them. This is for them to break out and then do what they're called to do as well.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
so wonderful. Again, see, you're bringing so many wonderful things. I love how you just went through not just physical abuse or domestic violence, whatever. You went through any type of abuse or, the issue that a person could go through, because it is like it's a breakup,
Yeah.
whether it's church, your doctor, friends, family. Like, I don't think people think about that when they talk about trauma and their healing and the things that they have to do. And so I thank you for bringing that to the forefront, because so many people think, like, oh, well, you had to break up with your doctor, but that can be traumatic for someone who's probably been integral in your care for years. And now you realize that they didn't have your best interest at heart and you have to start all over. I think the fear
Yep.
in any removing yourself from any harmful situation is starting over.
Yes. Yes. From scratch.
Yep,
No matter
yep,
if you
yep,
got left a big old house or not, like it's still from scratch,
yeah,
as if you got left with nothing,
yeah.
which I came home to like a completely empty house. The judge evicted my ex-husband and he took everything.
But see,
So
there's a
I
blessing in
understand.
that.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand. And for people don't understand it, it's like, oh my God, they took everything. I am a big believer. Again, I'm a woman of faith, and I believe in spirits, and I believe in the transference of spirits. And so, therefore, if that's what you got to take is connected to you, and that energy is there, you can go take it with you, and it goes into your house, and it can stay out of mine.
Yep.
I'd rather sleep on an air mattress. I'd rather have my little crate, milk crate chairs until we can do whatever we need to do. But then there's
Yep.
peace in the house that you can rebuild on, you know. So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
as we're winding up and wrapping up, how can people reach you? How can they connect with you? And for those, trust me, guys, like it'll be on the website and everything, but I really want to give her this time to, I want you to tell how they can connect with you, what maybe you got coming up in the next, month or so. And 'cause of course we'll stay connected definitely for things you got through the new year, maybe some partnerships. But tell everyone how they can connect with you.
On any social media platform, I am Brittany Gary, which my name is spelled on here, so it's the Guary. I am on Facebook. There's a Brittany Gary, which is my personal Facebook page, but then the Brittany Gary Breaking Free, that is the one that anyone can like friend request me there, send me messages, all you want, that's fine. Um, and then on Amazon is my book, Breaking Free, Healing from Abuse and Trauma, which I just want to show you. This is the book. So this is a blue cover. Yeah.
I'm gonna make you big. I'm gonna
This
make you
is
big
like
for
the
that
original copy. So it has like bold bold letters. Oh, this is a great one just to show you guys. It says forgive yourself, forgive yourself, forgive yourself. It's a whole chapter on this, okay? But this one has like bold font and all the things. There's a black cover on Amazon. It's my blackout version. So that one, there's no bold, there's no spacing. Um, you really can't see anything on the front. It doesn't even have the title on the front. It's for easier hiding in case someone is still in a abusive situation and you don't want that person to see this book. That's totally fine. I get it. So there are both of those on there, but it is the same book. It's just formatted different. Um,
Wonderful.
uh, and then what's coming next? So this month, I have another podcast that I will be guest speaking on, and then this is my family time. So this is me and my kids just chill out, relax, enjoy each other, enjoy the rest of our family and all the events going on for the holidays. And then next year, uh, that will all have to be stay tuned, but it looks like I will be working on a podcast with someone else, and doing a lot more of this and having other guest speakers on and making like a whole big thing about that. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, so I think it's time to like really start that. This is part of
Wonderful.
that decision stuff. I'm like, oh, I probably should do it. No, I probably shouldn't. And yeah, everyone's been telling me to. So, and then I got invited to do it. I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, I'm supposed to do this. So, and
Wonderful.
hopefully, definitely a lot more traveling and speaking engagements coming up. So, next year is looking really good. So, stay connected on my Facebook, especially, and Instagram. If you find me on there, same name, Brittany Gary. And all of those great details will be given at the appropriate time.
That is so wonderful. Again, if you follow her, if you're on, come to the Moving Past You wedding website page where her thing her profile will be. I will make sure all of that information is updated and it's in the show notes. And also, if you follow our newsletter, we're going to be keeping up with our guests. And so, as she has good things, because we're going to support as well. Because again, this is what support looks like. This is what love looks like. We have to come together to do all of this amazing stuff. And we are going to support her on all angles. So there's something promoted and you see me put it out there, go ahead and click and like it. That's what we do. But I am so excited and so grateful for God with the direction that you've decided to go and how you decided to honor him and help those that are in need. I definitely absolutely wish you the best in your journey, and I look forward into helping you pour into others moving forward. So
Yes, thank you so much.
you're so welcome. Was that not amazing? Oh my goodness, I told you guys you would love her. Told you. So again, we'll be back next week, of course, at same place, same location. Look out on the Facebook page or the website. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the birthday yet. You know, I don't know. I haven't decided, but I'll keep you abreast and things like that. Um, we'll see you next week. Again, you reach out to movingpastyou.com so that you can get all of Brittany's information so that you can like, follow, and share the things that she's doing. definitely get your hands on that book. Like she said, there's a blackout version. And for those, you may want to give that to someone who is going through something right now and they have to hide it and it can't be in plain sight. Definitely grab that for them because then it'll give them the what they need to move forward, but then it can also be discreet. You know, we always have to be discreet in those situations when it is time for us to get out. Thank you so very much, everyone. I love you. I will see you on next week. Peace out. We don't know what the birthday will be yet. We'll figure it out. But I'll see you next week. Love you. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Moving Past You radio show. Make sure to visit our website at www.movingpastyou.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes. If you found value in the show, rate us on iTunes or simply tell a friend about the show. And be sure to tune in next Friday for our next episode. And remember to always be kind in your word, your thought, and in your deed. Be blessed.